Ça fait un bon entraînement.
Ça t'a un peu warm up?
Allez.
Ok. Oh, je m'excuse. Hein.
Oh, je t'en prie.
Ok. Heureusement que je m'en suis aperçue. Hein. Okay, so today we have with us Lorhine Rafine. So we're going to start by doing one part in English and then we're going to do one part in French. Since it will be probably make more sense to you to put the first part in English
Sure.
for your social media. So, Lorhine, thank you for being here. I appreciate to see you again and your effort to come to America. Can you tell me why you got motivated to do the American bar as you are already pretty much a lawyer, right?
Yeah, first, thank you for welcoming me.
Yeah.
And to answer your question, I'm a lawyer in Paris already.
If you want to practice, you can.
Yeah, I'm practicing.
Oh, you are?
Yes, I have my own law firm in Paris. The only question is, which kind of practice would you like to have?
Oh.
And I would like to have an international one.
Oh.
So that's the reason why I'm really interested in the US legal system. And that's the reason why I decided to pursue my studies here in UC Berkeley. And now I have been graduated from UC Berkeley.
Yeah.
And I would like to take the California bar exam.
Yeah.
And
that's in February?
That's in February. But I plan to pass it on to take it on July.
Oh.
2020, yeah, because I really need to have more time to make sure I'm going to be well prepared for this exam.
You mean you can take that exam online?
No, I have to come back in California to take it.
Oh.
Yes.
So you're going to go back to France.
Yeah.
And you have to come back to take it.
Exactly.
But 3 months, you're going to forget everything you learned, no?
No, because I'm planning to ask private preparation to help me during several months before taking the bar exam.
Okay.
And to make sure, actually, I'm going to be very well trained to take it and to have the time to memorize all the things I will need to memorize because it's closed book. I cannot use any other material than my brain.
Okay. So it's closed book.
It's closed book,
Oh my goodness, that's very difficult.
Yes, it's very stressful.
So your motivation is not to open a practice in the United States. It's more like to practice internationally.
Well, practicing internationally doesn't mean I wouldn't be
traveling here.
Yes, traveling here and maybe open a practice here also.
Or like a second office.
Yes, it's possible. The question is, am I going to need this? I don't know. Maybe yes, maybe no. So I wish myself, yes, to have to do so.
Yeah, you might come to a customer, a client, they call it clients, who say, does Lorhine understand the law? So let's say you meet a startup in France and they say, establish me in California, you'll be able to do that.
Well, actually, right now, to establish a company here in California, I don't need to be a lawyer, a title lawyer. It's kind of, everyone can do it.
Oh.
Maybe not absolutely everything, but
you can consult?
I can consult, and at least I can ask someone to do just one part and not absolutely everything. So I can advise.
Okay.
But the problem is more about how to advise, how to be entitled to advise about California law to a client,
in case they want specific laws.
Exactly. And how I can provide them the best services, that's also.
Okay, so you mentioned that you already practice in France.
Yes.
Really? You're so young. How did you get started so young?
I started to work actually very young. I needed to, so and I'm really happy about this because I started to work in a law firm when I wasn't an entitled lawyer. In France, to practice as a lawyer.
An intern?
Yes, you're not a lawyer before taking your oath and the bar exam, of course.
So you learned on the field.
Yes, and it was absolutely great, awesome.
Yeah.
So
you do like the profession you picked?
Yes. Of course, yes.
No, but why do you like it? Isn't it thinking about other people's problems?
Oh, you're right. It's always about other people's problems. You're right. But actually, it's not about thinking about other people's problems. It's about providing them solutions. And this is about I love.
Oh, the part where you can
I can
really...
help them. I can be useful. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. But is it true that sometimes you sleep with the problem of your client in your head?
Yes, you're right. Actually, sometimes you have such a big case.
Yeah.
And with so many legal issues,
Yeah.
and you have a lot of pressure because you really want to provide the best services, for your client. Yeah, it's important for every lawyer, and
And the defense, if there is a need of a defense?
Yeah, of course, for everyone, it's
defense.
To help, yes, it's to help them. It's the purpose is to help them in defense, or if you are a plaintiff.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, it's in both ways. So yes, so of course, it takes a lot of time and a lot of your thoughts. You're always thinking about your cases. Yes, it's true.
But when you listen to your client, do you take the side of the other opponent, or you do have to take your client's side?
What do you mean? Before court or with my client?
Let's say your client come to see you and you know for sure he's wrong and he did something wrong. What are you going to do?
So you have several circumstances. First, no one is absolutely white or black. So this is the first prong.
Okay,
this is like this.
You can defend him no matter what.
Yes. The other question is not if you are going to be able to defend him or not. It's how are you going to defend him? For instance, if you are, I'm not practicing in criminal law, but I'm going to give you a criminal example. If you are going to ask me to defend someone who actually raped a minor.
Okay.
I won't say I'm not going to take the case. The only thing I'm going to say is I'm not going to say he didn't do this, but it's maybe how can I reduce the sentence, and how can I help him actually to
get out,
to have help. Because from my perspective, this person is maybe sick,
needs help,
and he needs help. So this is the difference.
Both.
Okay.
Oh, that's heavy. But you have lighter cases than that.
Of course.
Oh, thank God. But did you choose to practice mostly corporate, or you don't care if it is corporate or private?
No, my practice, actually, our field of practice, it's maybe, it's more civil and commercial law.
Okay.
So it's more private. It's more about contracts. It's more about torts. It's more about the way you can solve issues between people and not between the state and people, It's not the same.
Two people are in fight?
Yes.
And you detangle that. Do you have the right to talk to the opponent lawyer?
Of course.
Oh, you can.
And you are required to do so. Yes. First, before going to court.
You can talk to the opponent?
Yes, you have to at least try to get to get a settlement, to at least to try to solve the case without involving a judge.
Oh. Okay.
Yes, at least in France.
Oh, yeah. Here, too. I mean, they try to settle out of court, they say.
Of course.
Okay. And if you can come with maybe a monetary settlement,
it's better.
Then they sign papers and they say, I'll drop the case.
Of course. Yes. And it's always better because...
going to court, first of all, is very expensive.
It's expensive, but from my perspective and from my experience...
then you're sentenced.
Yes, you're sentenced, and you have... You don't have any party really happy with the sentence, actually.
Oh, yeah.
Because they are going to win in
one
some
feel
point,
guilty and one feel bad.
And to lose in another point. And maybe it's better to come to an agreement first.
Oh.
Then you know exactly on which point you can lose and on which point you really want to win, And it's not up to a judge to decide. And
unless it's really a hard case.
Yeah, of course.
No, I mean, also all the jails are full, so we don't have space for anybody. It's better to do out of court.
Yeah, you're right. But what you are mentioning, it's more about criminal law.
Oh, criminal. Okay.
So it's not it's not related.
Corporate.
No, it's not about civil and commercial law. So
Okay.
you don't have these kind of issues actually, and you cannot.
So you
make
don't
this
have to
kind
worry
of
about that
agreements.
as
No.
a lawyer.
In criminal law, you don't have this kind of agreement. Actually, it's more state public interest. You know, you
So
cannot
you
do
have
this.
no guilt behind, because if it's only a monetary settlement, there's no guilt. You can sleep at night.
Yes, it's not the same kind of
law.
of breach of law. You know, breaches
Yeah.
of law is not the same. No, no.
It takes also someone with a certain caliber to do hard cases, because I can't imagine a young woman like you doing a hard case. I mean, it wouldn't fit.
Oh, well, you're right. I look very young,
And also you don't want to be hit with this heavy problem.
you're right. Actually, it takes a lot of courage you
To
must be
face
very
it.
brave to face it. But from my perspective, I guess it's not about the age. It's more about motivation.
Okay.
So to be honest with you, I'm not afraid of having a very hard case and no, it's not.
So if you worked in Paris, did
Yeah.
you ever settle a case?
Yes. Yes.
You did?
Yes, I did several times. So, and it was really great actually because I was really happy not to go to court and the clients were very happy about this. So it was really great. Yes.
Okay. Are French lawyers very easy to negotiate with you, better than Americans? Or because Americans, they want big money.
Yeah.
Maybe in France the money is less.
Well, yes, the money is less in France. I cannot compare for sure from my own experience.
Not
I cannot,
yet, because
no,
you didn't practice
because
here.
I didn't practice in the US. I'm not entitled to practice here in the US.
Not yet.
But what I can say is anyway, if our settlements it's maybe not big money like as in the US. Anyway, our sentence
In France?
are not very high money too. So actually, we are dealing with the system. So yeah.
So if the money is not too high in France, your money is not really the motivation like in the United States.
It is the motivation. The only question is the level of money.
Okay. So, but it's better to take than a corporation that can pay you a lot more
You mean for
for compensation to your client.
Well, when you can, yes, of course. But our French laws
Yeah.
are not the same than here in the US.
You don't take a percentage?
Oh, you mean for the fees or
Yeah,
for
yeah,
the
yeah.
clients?
If the client gets $1 million, do you get 10%?
Oh, so you can decide the fees like this. You can
Between you and your
define-
client?
Yes.
Okay.
But what you are usually do is it's to an hour rate actually. So you say, okay, so I'm going to work about this time on your case. I'm going to take this amount per hour. So first you're going to ask.
First, you get the base.
Yes, and then you will complete if
You win,
worked.
if
Yes,
you win.
and if you worked more. Yes, you also can have a cap fee,
Yeah.
which means beyond a certain amount of hours,
Yeah.
then you cannot be the client anymore. Yes.
Oh, okay. So if they exceed your number of hours, then you have to charge them double time or something.
It depends on the convention, on the contract you made with your clients.
Oh,
You
okay.
have to make the contract with the client. So this is the first point you are going to negotiate with your client. Yes.
Is it the same here? You got to have a base plus commission?
You mean here how
United States.
in the US most lawyers are doing this kind of contracts,
Base
but
plus commission.
I guess it really depends on the law firm actually.
Okay. But for you to really perform on a case, it's better to have an extra bonus than the base pay.
I mean, of course, it's
Of course.
motivation.
Yeah.
Yes, of course. It's not the only way to get motivated for a case.
Yeah.
You know, for instance, when a law firm is doing pro bono cases, then of
Yeah.
course the motivation is not about the money, but still, of course, yes, it helps. And it's not just about how much you're going to earn from a case. It's how the costs the case implies. the legal research, the people
Long
you need to
time.
hire to help you on the case, because you cannot handle everything alone. So
You don't know
yes.
all the details about each.
And you have to respect the deadlines. You have to respect the deadlines.
Yeah.
So you cannot do absolutely everything by yourself. It's not possible. And it's also better to have another perspective when you are working on the case. So, yes.
What is the range of time for each case? Like 6 months?
Once you go to court in France, it really depends on the court. But I can say usually yes. It can be
6 months to a year.
Yes, probably. Sometimes it's less because you can have very quick procedure. So it can be really very quick. But let's say yes, usually 6 months.
Okay, so is the same in United States, or it's longer wait in the United States?
Well, I can tell. I definitely can tell for sure, but I guess it's kind of the same. The only question is how many cases are going to be sentenced by a judge, and how many cases are
You
going to
don't
be
know that
settled.
yet. You don't know.
Well, I'm not even sure someone can say for sure how many cases have been settled and everything, because
You can look it up, I mean, on Google.
yeah, probably, but the problem is I don't know if the data is how they collected the data. Actually, it's just about how it's publicized. I don't know.
No, because sometimes it's settled out of court. One time I settled with someone out of court, but they didn't pay. I mean,
Yeah.
and then it's too much trouble to go after, so you just let it go, because you
Of
don't
course.
want it as a headache in your life,
Of
right?
course, yeah.
So they can agree,
Yes.
they can agree to give you money, but then will they? That is the question, because you cannot chase people around, to pay you.
Yeah, of course.
So that's another story that the lawyers don't know about. I mean, they settle, they're happy, but they don't know what happened after that, right?
Yeah. Well, you can have, at least I'm going to speak for France.
Yeah.
Once you have a
settlement?
Yes. So it's a contract. So actually, you can
Enforce it?
You can enforce it, and so you can force a party to pay. And if the party doesn't pay, then you can go to court
Again.
and then you have.
It's better to finance it than go to court, because the court is not going to give money to the person to pay you. The court is going to say pay. So it's better to go to a bank and tell them to finance the fee or the fine. No?
What do you mean exactly?
Let's say I settle with you.
Yeah.
And you agree to pay me, let's say, $1 million. And I don't have $1 million.
Okay.
And I don't pay, so you're going to take me to court again. Isn't it better to put him in contact with the bank that will finance it, like they finance a house?
Yeah.
And the bank will give you the money, and they pay the bank.
Okay. So you mean to have some kind of
Financing.
warranties or this kind of thing?
Financing, just like when you
Yes.
finance a house.
Well, if you can do this, it's better, of course.
It's better. The judge is not going to give you the money.
Of course not. Of course not. But
So you're better to go to a
of
bank
course
that
not.
will give you the money.
But for instance, when you are going to draft your settlement, the first thing you are going to look at
is if they can pay.
Of course, it's solvability. Of course, otherwise, no, you don't have any interest to settle. So this is the first thing you are going to ask the other party
you do look?
to provide. Yes.
Oh, you do look if they can pay.
Yes.
Yeah, because like we have the big corporation, like the lawsuits for the talc come in the United States, where the women who get cancer from talc, and they get like billions of dollars of settlement for all these women who get cervical cancer or whatever. And then you have also big cases like the fires. PG&E is going to pay 3.7 billions to all the victims of the fire. But those are big corporations. But on smaller scale, I believe that is it easy to check if the person can pay?
At least you have to ask them to provide you this information.
Like you ask their bank statement?
Bank statement or assets, or at least their own statement.
Okay.
Because if one day you really need to go to court again, and to verify this information,
Yeah.
actually, then you will definitely need to show bad faith.
Ah,
You know?
okay.
Yeah.
Uh,
For instance,
it's called what? Good faith
and
bad.
bad faith.
Ah, I see. I
Yes,
see.
exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's also a concern.
But usually, you know, for instance, you were talking to me about companies, and in most of the cases, companies have insurances. So the
Oh,
question
they
is
have
going to be
liability
yes,
insurance
and the question is more about what is going to be covered
by the liability.
yes, exactly, by the contract with their own insurer. So that's the question. Yes,
Oh, they are insured.
yeah.
Okay. So only the private people are not insured.
They of course they are.
They are?
Yes, they are. For instance, yes, yes.
Like, do you have as a business, as a lawyer, insurance?
You have to, of course.
Oh, okay, in case somebody sue you?
Of course, yes, of course.
Okay.
It's necessary, yes.
It is. So you can be sued as a lawyer?
You can be sued as a lawyer, yes.
Yeah. How many people do you work with? Like, you work with the people you worked before?
What do you mean exactly, the people I was
I mean,
working
you said
before?
you worked as an intern for a company. Are you working for them again, or are you totally self-employed?
So I'm working as freelance for a company, for several companies.
Oh, as an independent contractor.
Independent contractor, yes. And so, but I'm completely self-employed.
Self-employed,
Yes.
okay. All right. So you can take the case or
Yes.
leave it.
Yes.
Oh, that gives you good freedom at your age. I mean, that's good to have that
Yes.
freedom at your age.
Yes.
So we're going to switch to the French part, if you don't mind.
Of course.
Okay.